stuck with not knowing what you're earning, not knowing what is your expenses? My dear builders and contractors who are into the SME sector, yes, this is a major pain area that everybody has. You have 3-4 running projects or 5-6 projects at the max, building constructions, and you typically at any point of time really don't know what's the exact number of profits, number into the, whether is it really in loss, or what is the stock available, what is the payables that you need to do a vendor. Is this your real problem? Yes, we are there to support you with this. We have a small solution, a very small one, which can help you streamline your business and look at scaling from there. That's the most important part. Scaling is the most important part of any business. Else you are a self-employed, you are in a self-employment mode. Rather than working for somebody, you are just being self-employed with a small team where you do everything and you need everywhere your presence. That's a major issue where your scaling stops. You cannot take more than 6 or 7 projects because you're stuck. You cannot be omnipresent. You cannot be present everywhere, right? Let's talk through something and see how we can help you do it. I'll introduce you to something exciting on how you can transform the business that you manage on a day-to-day basis. Your supervisors, how helpful it's for them, how efficiently they can manage their teams, how they can manage the raw materials that come into your sites, each and every different sites, the accounts team of your, how they manage the vendors. Those are the typical scenarios that we always get stuck in and day out. I know many contractors or builders in this SME sector who sit late at night, try to write down into a paper or a diary, or try to put these things in Excel and see running around in the midnight, burning midnight oil. We are a small platform that's been designed for real life work, for simple, practicable and easy to start with. How easy to use it. Whether you manage a small thing or simple, do multiple sites, these solutions bring you help in all these scenarios in one together place. That's the most important place. Everything coming under one umbrella is what supports you in your growth, which supports you in taking real-time dynamic decisions that's helpful for your growth, and also that's helpful to manage your profitability. You need to know which of your employees are non-profitable or which of your departments are non-profitable, and slowly fine-tuning it, tweaking it helps bring up the profitability of a business. No business survives without profitability. Look at a scenario where you can manage everything that you have been managing manually now. That is, you manage the attendance, you manage the materials, you manage the stock, the purchases, the payment to vendors, the payment to the employees, the payment to the contract laborers that you have. Just think of a day where everything is automated into a single system and you don't do it manually multiple times at multiple points. Different people in your organization, as per the levels, as per the responsibilities they take over, maybe a site supervisor, maybe the admin in your office, maybe the accountant assistant, they all punch in the data numbers into one place. And most of the time what happens with us is we run through WhatsApp groups. Everything is forwarded over WhatsApp, the bills, the attendances, the stock that comes, the requirement of stock, the miscommunication that happens, things go up and down. Unfortunately, your phone gets formatted and you lose everything of the history. This is a real time. You feel like this has been happening to you, this has been happening within your team, then you start keeping on forwarding the old messages from your phone. When you're already managing multiple sites and maybe a good number of laborers and your subcontractors, this extra help that you can get from a system reduces the struggles of your day-to-day life. You can concentrate on maintaining the quality, finding out new innovations that's happening in your domain, try implementing them into your systems, into your sites, and give the wow factor to your customers. Isn't it what you have been dreaming of? But a lot of times what we do is we are in the daily firefighting with no vacations, and we don't know what's new in our system. Now I'll come back to a solution. What is a solution that I can give you? A simple, very easy to use, and on a cloud, so you don't have the issues of losing your data at any point of time. Your attendance can be automated right from the supervisor level of each of the locations that you have. Your stock can be managed right from the inputs that come in from the vendors, the stocks that including the billing. Same thing, moving to different sites. You also know at what point of time there is an extra stock in particular site and you badly need it in other place. You don't have the time to get it from the vendor, wherein your laborers are wasting time. You just pick it up from the other side that you have. The leave of your staff, of your laborers, their payroll, a major headache every month you have on a weekly payment, every week you run behind this. The purchase and expense tracking, site-wise. What is the total materials that have been used in a particular site? How nice to know those. We really don't know that. The daily reports of the attendance, the stock usage, the balance stock, the payment spending for the vendors who supply you products. And you finally have a multi-site dashboard and control over what's happening everywhere. You don't need to spend a lot of time learning to use this system. It's not complex, a very simple thing. It's laid out cleanly, step-by-step process, access to data and information only to the extent a user needs to know. You don't know or don't need your supervisor to know what's the funds that coming in, what's the funds that going out. Only the account teams need to do that. The total profit and loss, you need to see on a day-to-day basis. You don't need your team to do that. All you need is a tablet or a laptop, and for your visibility of the reports, just a phone is more than sufficient. A few minutes, 20 minutes a day is sufficient to run your business, run your documentation. The main features of one of these is the daily site-wise tracking of what's happening. The platform gives an overall view of each of your project size and what's the status of the development going on. What is the number of laborers available at that particular point of time or that particular day? What's the outcome at the end of the day? How much of the vendor's payment is pending that you need to pay? And what is the total payments that you received from a particular client, and what's pending, and what's the next milestone for that? Isn't that so easy to use? Same way, the next module will be the employee management. You can add in the employees, you can add in subcontractors and their laborers as numbers with their payments. You can track their working hours, you can track their attendance, you can always have complete clarity on what is the expense with regards to labor for each site on a day-to-day basis. That will help you plan and know well in advance that your project is going over budget. You need to collect money from the site customer, or you are doing more than what you have promised, and so the expenses are going high, your project is going into a loss. You can cut it at that time. You can make it stop, you can put a full stop, or try to find out ways where you can reduce the cost. Every material that comes in, many times it happens you drop in a bag of coils in a site and only half or 75% of that is used. The remaining goes into waste. Someone picks it up and takes it, or someone doesn't use it. Same way with the tools that's used. If you provide the tools, you don't know at the end of the project whether the tools really come back. You should have a track of that. And that helps you improve your profits. Every project losing tools, losing additional cables, losing additional switches. Simple. Those things, if can be recovered, automatically it brings up your profit by 8 to 10%. What more you want? You need not renegotiate the project. You need not increase the price. Just streamline and give a finish to the operations. Make it nice, fine, so everything is on track. The people who are working with you are motivated. They get things in time. The balances are recovered from there, taken to the next site. So there is no extra wastage of any of the raw materials that you purchase. is used and billed for properly. The payment tracking, as I already mentioned, the payments to the vendors, payments from the clients, payments to the laborers. Everything goes on time. You exactly know what is the advances taken, and at the end of the month or the week, you can reduce that and then give a balance. Because you have a proper system there. Don't you feel that's important? And you click on a project and you know what is the total expenses on that project, what are the pending payments that needs to be paid to vendors and laborers, and what's the money that needs to come from the customer. These three numbers will really make your life easy, will really make your life comfortable. You can plan your payouts as per the timelines that the customer has given for you to get the payments. Else, you have no timelines, don't know who is on priority to be paid. You pay the first guy who comes and asks you, and the remaining guy whom you already promised that you will give, he's stuck because he didn't get the money. Secondly, you don't have the funds. And that spoils the relations on long term. The material stock balance is another very important factor in this. After every project, was the balances of materials available in that project, or in between the project, what's balance and need not be used, is not needed for that, you can always pick it up for the next project. Always move it to your warehouse to keep for the next upcoming project. And that, at one point of time, you find that you have sufficient items available with you to start the next project without doing a purchase. And that too at the older rates that you already purchased. Isn't that enticing? Isn't that nice to hear? Yes, we can do that. It's very simple. The only problem is we fear getting into technology. The fear factor that comes. Is it very tough? So much of complexity? So much to learn? No, it's very easy. It's just that we need to understand that we need to delegate the work to the team members. And each of the team members, we should make sure they're using the system rather than using their own diaries or their Excel sheets. They should use the common system that's given. And that makes life easier. All features into one, packed, and you have proper reports. What's the benefit of this? A very simple thing. Everybody will ask, I'm spending money on this. What's the benefit there? It gives you an ROI of around 4 to 5 months, at the max 6 months for recovering the cost. On a day-to-day basis, the running cost, maintenance cost is so nice, so less that you actually earn a profit of 10% more by implementing a system like this. A 10% profit by implementing something that's not very costly, does not make a hole in your pocket, is what everybody loves. Only thing is the fear. Remove the fear, avoid the manual errors that you have, save the time that you need to do something worthwhile rather than sitting on the papers and running and finding out what's the expenses, what's the incomes. Prevent material losses that can be tracked to the end. Track the employees and cost, and get instant reports for decision making. All this decision making helps you. You don't need extra stuff, you don't need additional skills to run it, and it's built to fit smoothly into your current work system. You just need to get into a state of mind that you are ready and will implement something like this. This will make your life organized and in control, even if you are busy. Now, last question is, why you? There are many of them. Yes, there are many of them. But why us? Is because we have been in this game for quite some time, number one. We are available whenever you want to support you on a long term and make sure your business grows. That's the aim of us. That's our USP. We make sure your business grows, you get the ROI, you get the profits as you thought of. That's why we are here. Let's be in touch. Let's see how we can help you. Try it out once. It will be helpful for you.